After a thrilling NASCAR race in COTA, the standout story remains to be the drama between Christopher Bell and Kyle Busch. After the race, Busch even confronted Bell about the incident. Now NASCAR veteran Kyle Petty has given his thoughts on the incident and the following confrontation. Before we get into what Kyle Petty said, don't forget to like and subscribe to our channel. We post the latest news on everything NASCAR. Don't miss out on the action. During the race at COTA, Christopher Bell had a little run-in with his old teammate Kyle Busch. Going into the first corner, Bell went for a gap on the inside of Busch, who was attempting to take a different line to try to overtake the car ahead of him. When Bell approached the apex of the corner, Busch turned in and got tagged by Bell. The RCR driver was sent spinning and down the order. Following the incident, Bell went on to win the first stage and finished second in the race. If there was another lap or two in the race, he might have been able to challenge William Byron for the race win. Busch, on the other hand, only managed to finish ninth at the end of the race. His entire race was compromised due to the spin after coming in contact with Bell's number 20 car. After the race, the number 8 driver was enraged with Bell. He stormed towards the number 20 car and had a few words. Although the entire conversation was not heard on camera, we could hear this very well. "You've wrecked me twice. I'm not gonna let it happen again, third. Have I ever wrecked you?" "No," Bell replied. "Well, you have it coming," Busch said. Busch explained how Bell had wrecked his race twice, including the one in COTA, while Busch, on the other hand, has never wrecked Chris's race. He went on to give a stern warning to the Gibbs Racing driver. This warning may have been out of line, as it seems as though Busch will do so intentionally next time they're on the track. This confrontation could warrant a race ban from NASCAR. From the videos seen by everyone, it seems as though Busch was the one who changed his racing line. Whether or not he knew Bell was alongside him when he did that is still unknown, but either way, it does not justify his actions after the race. After the confrontation, Bell gave his post-race interview where he said, "I mean, yeah, obviously, he's very upset. Which, he ended up turned around. Busch is so frustrated by what happened in turn 1, and I don't know. They were too wide going in there. I haven't obviously seen a replay yet. I had no intentions of turning him. I'm sure we'll talk it out before the next race." Earlier in the race, Bell had a similar incident with Kyle Larson. For this incident, Bell took complete responsibility and apologized to Larson. However, he hasn't done so with Busch, as he feels he's not at fault. NASCAR veteran Kyle Petty has now given his reaction to the incidents. "Okay, COTA yesterday. What we saw was Christopher Bell hit everybody at the racetrack named Kyle, except for me. Yes, I was there yesterday watching all the action," Petty said. "I look at the first incident. He gets into Kyle Larson. That's straight up Christopher Bell. When you hit somebody dead square from behind on the racetrack, it's just like on the highway. You get the ticket. Ticket for Christopher Bell. He owned up to it. I've got to admit, he manned up. He said, 'That's all me. I hate that happened.' The second incident with Kyle Busch is a little bit more. There's a little bit of something there. Kyle Busch drove that corner like he was the only car on the racetrack. Christopher Bell filled the hole to the inside. Kyle cuts back across. Christopher is there. That's what you learn to do every racetrack you've ever raced on. Fill the hole. Christopher Bell filled the hole. Kyle Busch comes back across." Now, what I enjoyed was the after-the-race confrontation. When Kyle Busch comes up, trying to teach Christopher Bell how to count 1, 2, 3, he's holding up his fingers. He says, "I owe you 1. Although he's holding up 3 fingers. "I owe you 1. And at that same time he says, "Have I ever wrecked you?" And Christopher Bell says no. So there we have it. For the record, Christopher Bell is the only guy Kyle Busch has never wrecked on a racetrack, and I found that hilarious. Kyle Petty also feels that Bell was not at fault for the incident with Busch. The number 8 car took a wider line while approaching turn 1. However, on the exit of the same turn, he decided to change his line to the inside. Whether or not he knew that Bell was attempting an overtake on the inside is unknown, but changing racing lines while at the apex is not a safe move. If he knew that Bell was on the inside trying for an overtake, he could have cut to the inside to stop Bell from getting past. But he got the shorter end of the wishbone, as he was the one who was sent spinning. Busch already has a reputation for being a dirty driver. As Kyle Petty mentioned, he's wrecked almost every driver's race at some point in his career. Now it looks as though he will be looking to do the same with Bell as well. Busch is one of the most experienced drivers in NASCAR today. He made his first race debut in 2003. However, he made his full season debut only in 2005. Since then, he has angered other drivers, but has also won several races. He has 63 NASCAR Cup Series wins and holds the all-time wins record in the Xfinity Series with 102 and Truck Series with 65. He also has won 2 NASCAR Cup Series championships. Given his experience, there is no doubt that he knows how to win races, but he's been struggling so far this season. Christopher Bell is currently 7th in the championship standings. Since he has already won a race, he's in a strong position for a playoff spot. However, if there are more than 17 winners, he will need to have more points than the additional winner to maintain his playoff spot. However, there are a lot of drivers gunning for the playoff spot at the moment. This could lead to some difficulties in the later stage of the season. Busch, on the other hand, is not in a position for a playoff spot yet. Although he is in 13th place, he is yet to win a race. In order to qualify for the playoffs, the driver has to win at least one race. The top 16 drivers who have won a race will be chosen for the playoffs. This year is Kyle Busch's 21st NASCAR season. In every season before this, he's won at least one race, but in this season so far, he's been struggling to find the pace in the car. The team have also made some crucial pit stop errors, which have prevented him from winning a race so far. But it's still a long season ahead. With another 20 races to go in the regular season, Kyle will have the chance to get that win he'll need to qualify for the playoffs. But even after winning a race, he could still lose his spot if there are 17 or more race winners during the regular season. There's no doubt that Kyle Busch was once the top dog in NASCAR. However, his glory years are past him. He should now learn to mentor and make way for the younger drivers. Christopher Bell is one of the drivers who are at the peak of their career. These drivers are looking to take over the sport from the veterans right now. Busch has lived through his best years and will now have to look at what sort of legacy he wants to leave behind. We've seen many successful drivers gain a bad reputation due to the broken legacy left behind by them. Carl Edwards is one such example. He was often considered to be an arrogant driver and is now not very popular despite his success in the sport. If Kyle Busch is able to save his legacy, he will have a successful career off the track even after his retirement from racing. Do you think Kyle Busch was right to confront Christopher Bell after the race at COTA? Post your thoughts in the comment section below.